been in health and wellness for over 30 years now, 32 years in practice. Really excited. And, the whole goal is to help people. That's why I got into this field. Not only, being in sports and athletics, I had my own injuries. And so I kind of, develop an appreciation for helping people recover and get back in the game, whether it be, an athletic event or just general, things that they do in well-being and health and well-being. And so, again, I work in a multidiscipline facility with orthopedic surgeons, pain management, general physicians. So I'm actually exposed to a lot of different approaches to health and wellness, some more evasive than others. And I got really excited about 3 years ago when somebody brought this to me, this X39 patch, because I've actually been using light energy and to accelerate athletic performances and healing properties for our bodies over the last probably 15 to 18 years. And if you kind of look over my shoulder here, we have a couple modalities that are really expensive modalities that actually accelerate our own body's healing properties and recovery and rejuvenation. And so when I was introduced to this, and I started to dig into the research and see what it was all about utilizing light energy and specifically our own body's light energy without external sources, I got really excited because that particular unit cost me $18,000. And I have a couple of those, and we can only treat one person at a time. And it's a long time period of treating, so 20 minutes or so. So it can be very slow process. But when I started to look at what the ability of this potential patch had on doing the similar properties, but now I can put this on thousands of people at the same time and touch a lot more people. And not only that is I can show other people how to do the same thing. So now I can have hundreds of thousands of people walking around with this portable wearable device that I call it a device because of the properties that it utilizes. Man, I thought we are onto something great. And I'll elaborate a little bit more why I got so excited, because it's going down to the foundational component of wellness, health and wellness, and regenerative properties. And regenerative wellness is on the forefront, everything right now, because you think about, there's a lot of baby boomers out there, right? There's a lot of people that are looking for ways to look better, feel better, or lead a higher quality of life. We have our hands on something brilliant that's impacting overall wellness that nobody else has access to. There's no other technology out there that's so powerful like this. And so again, when you see the slide, have you been patch it? It's because we're holding on to something that's impactful, that can change lives, because it elevates, activates, and regenerates our body's own systems to regenerative wellness. All right, so the brainchild of all this technology is David Smth. He's the CEO, inventor, and founder of the X39. He spent multiple decades bringing this to market, doing research and development with the U.S. government, with Children's Hospital, a lot of different companies out there. And because he focuses his energy on regenerative wellness and specifically stem cell research. And so he dug into figuring out the ability that where we can start to activate our own foundational component of wellness. And that goes to what we call stem cells. Stem cells are the foundational component of what our body is made of. Every red blood cell, white blood cell, ligament, tendon, bone, every organ in our body starts as a stem cell. And so that is very impactful in overall well-being. There's not a person walking on this earth that doesn't need regenerative wellness and stem cell activation. So, and also the component of the patent talked about is increasing our own body's production of copper peptides. Now, why copper peptides are so impactful, I'll touch on in a minute. But one of the things that that happens over time is that our stem cell production declines dramatically as we age. And when our stem cell production goes down, we age faster and heal slower. And so, like I said, there's not anybody walking this earth, not anywhere that doesn't need regenerative wellness through stem cell production. And so by the age of 30, half our stem cell production is down, has diminished. We're only at 50% capacity, which is impactful because we think at 30, we're live and vitality and everything, but we're only at 50% capacity. By age 60, we're only at 10% production, meaning 90% of that system has shut down. And so we're just running just on bare necessity, bare capacity at that point. So that is a problem. And like I said, and so now David Schmidt has found the solution of that problem by introducing the X39. Now the X39, why it is so impactful is because it's safe, non-invasive, effective, and affordable. And it's utilizing light energy, and that's what we typically call phototherapy, through a patented nanocrystal technology. So in this particular wearable patch that you basically just peel the backing off, you can see here that I actually have it on my wrist. Unfortunately, about 2 weeks ago, I went down on my bike and put my hand down and I thought I almost broke my wrist, which is very difficult when you're a chiropractor and have to, put your hands on people and put pressure and everything. I could barely put any pressure on it at all. And so I actually have been wearing this, and within just a few hours of wearing this, significant reduction in pain and increase in mobility. And so I actually got to test it out, firsthand just recently. Again, multiple times I've been able to test it, unfortunately, but I got some great response from that. But understanding that this particular patch, this wearable patch, has no chemicals in it. There's nothing that's transferring, absorbing from the patch to the skin. So we call it a non-transdermal patch, which most people think of when they wear a patch, they think of like a nicotine patch or a pain patch where your body is absorbing something, but this has no medication in it. All it's doing is utilizing light energy. Our own body puts off an infrared light that we visibly can't see, but the law enforcement and things can track us at night because they can see the infrared light that our body puts off through special goggles and stuff. But so David Schmidt, understanding that technology, was able to put together these nanocrystal technology, which is plant-based amino acids and sugars. And when you crystallize something, it has a light refraction. So it refracts light. It changes the direction of light to certain wavelengths. So everything that is crystallized refracts light at a different wavelength. He was able to find the specific wavelength that refracted light to activate our body's stem cell production and copper peptides. And so, like I said, it's very safe, non-invasive. It has no contraindications to medications, and it's impactful. It can make a huge impact in our overall health and wellness. And like I said, before, copper peptides, when you increase the production of copper peptides, they have a significant impact because they reduce inflammation in the body. Now, has anybody heard of anything that ends in an itis? I mean, most of us have something that ends in an itis, a bursitis, arthritis. All those different itises are inflammatory conditions which actually start to deteriorate our health. And inflammation is the root of all disease. So when we start to build inflammation in the body, our body starts to break down. And so that can be very impactful for our overall health and wellness. So we have something naturally that we can start to reverse that process. The other exciting thing is that this actually increases the production of collagen. Now, collagen is the root of all ligament, is the basis of all ligament and tendon structure. So when we talk about osteoporosis, osteopenia, and weakness in our atrophy in the muscles and things as we grow older, those things start to deteriorate our health and make us more susceptible to further injuries, falls and breaking bones and such. So now we have an ability to combat that by wearing this, because we start to lay down healthier collagen. Now, collagen, you can see it on a lot of health and wellness these days because there's collagen peptides out there. And those are external sources, what we call in medicine exogenous sources. But wearing this patch actually increases our own body's production of collagen from the inside out, which is the most effective way because our body knows how to utilize it when we produce it internally. When we take it from external sources, it a lot of times does not know how to break it down and utilize it more effectively. So the best way is when our own body produces it. And then also the thing, as copper peptides are being increased, blood flow, circulation, nerve innervation. And one of the major things is anti-clotting factors, because copper peptides prohibit or reduce the production of fibrinogen. Fibrinogen is a major clotting factor in cardiovascular disease. And so cardiovascular disease being the #1 killer in the US and probably across the country, how impactful can that be? You never know what the type of impact you can when you're introducing this to somebody, because cardiovascular is a silent killer. It actually, a lot of people don't even know they're struggling from cardiovascular disease until it's too late. And so it sneaks up on us and we don't really know it. But now, just utilizing and wearing the patch, we can make a huge impact in those type of issues. And like I said, we're not treating or curing disease, but we're turning on our own body system to create that regenerative wellness. And so we talk about those systems, they just have gone dormant over time. We've had them all along. Just as we start to age, those systems have shut down and gone dormant. To me, it's like turning the light switch back on. We're actually turning those systems back on to be more productive. And so when you do that, you see all these different things start to happen. You start to see increased strength, reduced inflammation, increased stamina, energy and vitality, and not energy and vitality from caffeine and other stimulants, natural energy and vitality, because our body just starts to perform at a higher level. And that's what we all want. We want our body to perform at a higher level naturally. And so mental clarity is one of the big things, because when you start to reduce inflammation in that sterile area of the blood-brain environment up there, the nerves in the brain start to communicate a lot better. And so you have more clarity, more memory, focus, cognition. Those are key things, as we start to age, that deteriorate over time. Now we have the ability to kind of combat that naturally by this wearable patch. And I already talked about the benefits of collagen, because you increase restored muscle and skeletal conditions. A key thing that people are experiencing is improved sleep. They get a deep quality sleep, a better quality of sleep, because they're able to get into those deep cycle and that REM sleep. And you absolutely need that to allow the body to rebuild and replenish naturally. And then I know hundreds of people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars out there to go out and get procedures done, injections and stuff to tighten the skin to look younger. Now we have the ability to increase that collagen production underneath the skin, so people start to look a little younger over a period of time. It doesn't happen overnight, but actually when you start to lay collagen underneath the skin, that's the integral structure that tightens it up. And so we get that younger looking appearance. And so the X39 long-term results that we're seeing on multiple studies and testimonies, which you can actually see this is at info.com in the testimonies drop down, hundreds of different testimonies there. But what we're seeing is the first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset. Now, 4,000 is significant because that's 1/3 of all the genes our body exists of. And so that's an impactful, change in in a short period of time. But just to kind of put it in a better perspective, resveratrol was on the forefront of health and wellness a few years back for all its health benefits. Resveratrol got national notoriety for resetting two genes in national notoriety, and we have something that resets 4,000 in the first few days. So that's how impactful it can be by just wearing this on a consistent basis. And then we already talked about brain function, brain becomes balanced, the inflammation is being reduced, better nerve flow and communication. And then within 3 months, collagen levels are increasing. And so you're starting to build more bone density, more muscle, ligament, tendon strength. And so those happen over a period of time. The one thing I like to stress on this is that a lot of times people just give up too soon. We deteriorate, we beat our bodies up for 40, 50, 60 years, and we want to wear the patch for 3 days and hope it's a miraculous recovery of what we've done over, all those years. But if you know what's going on in this with the patch and what it's utilizing and the systems it's turning on, you just need to give it time. You need to let it do its own work. And so understanding it takes a period of time to rebuild and replenish, and that's what the X39 is doing naturally. And then we talked about cardiovascular health. Within 6 months, cardiovascular changes are beginning to happen, because remember, the heart is a muscle. So when you're laying down healthier muscle, you have better efficiency in the heart, heartbeat and everything, better circulation, better blood flow. Again, cardiovascular, #1 killer in the US. We have something that could potentially be impactful with that if we just utilize the X39 long enough. So I go into a little bit of more of the science. So I just want to give you guys value, that you have a better understanding of how impactful the X39 could be because of all the systems that it touches on. And I've never seen anything that's been this impactful in my 30+ years of practice that touches on so many systems, because it basically it's activating, rebuilding on the weakest link in the body. So, a lot of times in my practice, I'll actually have people wear it, because I see a lot of musculoskeletal issues. I'll have people wear it on their shoulder or on their hip or on their knee, because of the benefits that it can have there. But then we start to see blood pressure levels improving, and we start to see cholesterol levels improving, blood sugar levels improving, liver, kidney functions improving. So there's significant changes going on internally, systemic improvements that we wouldn't even have thought of was going to happen, but because of the power that we have with the X39 and what it's utilizing, it is enhancing a lot of things going on internally. So how do you wear the patch? You can literally wear the patch anywhere. When they were doing the research studies, they put it on the back of the neck or underneath the belly button just so that they could replicate those type of benefits. I tell people, put on in the morning when you do your morning hygiene, take it off at night. And then don't wear anything at night, and then put a new one on the next day and repeat the process. The company says 12 hours on, 12 hours on. It doesn't have to be exactly 12 hours. Just make sure you're taking it off for a period of time at night so the body does not get used to the signal that it's producing and presenting. And then you can actually wear more than one patch at a time. You don't necessarily have to, but you can. The key component, though, is make sure you're drinking plenty of water and hydrating, especially with electrolytes, because the patch itself is going to help flush toxins out of the body and help the body rebuild itself. And so we need to get those toxins out first so the body can have a more efficient way to utilize the X39 and the potential that it's doing. So hydration is a key component to going on there. So